Hi everybody, Dr. Jen here. So in my last post, I talked about giving your kids the fluency, the words for each of these skills. And today I want to share something else that you can do as we go along month to month and talk about these different skills. And that is helping to identify where there might be some holes in your child's umbrella. So this isn't a judgment. Each of our lives presents us with opportunities to practice different skills. You know, some of us have had a lot of time and practice with empathy and not that much with self-efficacy or grit. And some of us are extremely kind and, we might be missing our sense of purpose. So as we go along each month, just take notice of which skills you think your child might not have had a big chance to develop yet. And those are the skills that I think are most important for you to focus in on the different parenting tips that we share, and maybe pick out a couple that really work in your household to start to develop those skills. I mean, it's great to have strong parts of your umbrella, and most of us really do rely heavily on a couple of our coping skills. But what we know from the research is that the more pieces and the more skills that we have, the better and better we protect ourselves. There was a great example that came out in the research recently of resilient kids having more delinquent behavior. Which makes perfect sense because, kids who are really resilient are great at bouncing back from all sorts of things, including negative consequences. And so for that child, when they get in trouble for doing something, they bounce back from that fairly quickly and are more likely to potentially do that behavior again, versus a child who doesn't have a lot of resilience, who really struggles to bounce back. You can say, one thing to them and they will never, ever do that thing again. They don't want to be in trouble because they struggle to bounce back from those moments of negativity in their lives. So, resilience on its own requires other skills to balance it out in order to have the best umbrella of protection. It needs empathy and kindness and some of those other interpersonal skills in order to make sure that those types of things don't occur. The same thing happens with, when we really, really rely on empathy and putting ourselves in someone else's shoes. Sometimes we can see that we get empathy fatigue. We're just not taking care of ourselves and we're missing some of those other skills. So pay attention as you go through the months to the skills that you think your child might need a little more practice, and look for opportunities for them to do that.